tell us a little bit about what you're wearing, the PPE, and what guidelines you guys follow here to contain infection?
For sure, for sure. So everybody in this queue room, the quarantine room, has been with us less than 14 days. It takes about 2 weeks to figure out or to see if any sort of cooties they may have will become apparent, or if they have had anything that'll pass within that time period. So to prevent spreading that, you know, when I'm feeding everybody, I want to make sure that I'm not spreading any sort of cooties cage to cage. So I'm wearing a few items. I've got my rubber gloves here. I've got my yellow isolation gown and a bouffant. For if, oh goodness, if this guy were to say, be really excited to see me and just start climbing on me, oh no, you know, I want to make sure that, you know, my skin, which can transmit infection, isn't going to transmit it to somebody else. So I'll just replace my gown and there we go. I don't have to worry about infection. I'm constantly replacing gloves. I've gotten over the fact that I'm throwing away so many gloves. It's totally necessary. And my hat is for when, say, I'm jumping into a cage to, if somebody's had a little bit of fun in their litter box and I need to, you know, clean up a little bit. If I bonk my head on the ceiling, who knows what kind of cooties are on the ceiling. So instead of getting it in my hair and then wearing around kitty cooties until I can get in the shower, this bouffant is protecting me against anything that could be hanging around in that cage. So we don't want to give anything that somebody new comes in to somebody else. You never know what the backgrounds of these cats is. So just better safe than sorry. And then once their 2 weeks are up, they get to go to Pee-wee and are presumed healthy, and the road to a new home is much, you know, much more close at hand than in here. But it goes a lot faster than you think. Right? Are you done?
So in terms of cage setup, how do you set up each individual kitten's cage, and what types of items do you provide for them?
All right, so the super basics. Once they hit an age where they're starting to eat wet food, they will get a litter box. Everybody gets a bed. Once they get old enough to be able to crawl out, we try to give them a little hidey box. It gives them a little bit, an element of fun, a little bit element of safety. There's a lot going on in here, so it does help to find a way to kind of get away from it all. Are you done? Should we get a brother? So a water dish for those who are eating wet food. We want to make sure that they get their water content. And we gotta make sure we got some toys in there. So for cats that are old enough to see that, you know, aren't, you know, able to kind of get around their own, they're gonna want something to do while they're stuck in there. So anybody who's on their own, sometimes we have kitty onesies. We try to give them a big floppy stuffed animal to keep them company. That really is soothing. All right. Hey, all right. Tracy. There we go. These guys are out of quarantine. They just haven't quite started eating enough to be put into Pee-wee, where it's, you know, we have so many cats in Pee-wee, we want to make sure we've got, you know, we can't spend table feeding everybody over there. So when they start getting a little bit better. But the rest of the cage setup, oh, but toys, of course we have to have toys. I've got a whole collection of, we've got these toilet paper roll pinwheels. So once you get down to the skeleton of your toilet paper, you can cut that up. And it's amazing how cats like stuff that you would just throw away. You can spend as much money as you want on a toy, and that cat will go for the cardboard box every time. We've got ping pong balls. Those have a really fun bounce. Anything that jingles. And even the caps from your soda bottles. Those are really fun to push around. You never know which way they're going to go. So that's a really good way to provide stimulation and enrichment for little guys. And that's just fun to watch for me. So yummy. And then sometimes if they've got really, you know, if they're having a little bit of tummy trouble, we'll throw down a little layer of paper to make cleaning a little easier. That way we can, you know, make cleaning a little bit more frequent during the day when we might not have a lot of time, depending on how many kitties we have to feed. But I don't think there's too much more to it than that. We'll throw in small stuffed animals for cats that are, you know, bigger players that want to have something to kick around, something to chew on.
Awesome. And how do you keep and clean and keep kittens warm after you clean them?
So, really good example. You can't, so kittens this age are a little too young. They haven't quite gotten to the point where they can self-regulate their temperature. So you want to do everything you can to prevent them getting like wet. So what I do, and we'll just use this as Mr. Albert or Aiden. Oh, Aiden, of course you are. You've got the biggest appetite of the group. I've got my hanky dandy cotton ball. I've got a little bit of warm water over here. I try to make sure it's not too wet, otherwise I will soak his little face. And I just kind of dab him up. Dabby. Get it off his little nose. Watch out. There we go. It's a little bit greasy. Here, the food's a little greasy, but there you go. And then that way, the food won't take up in there, and then you lose hair, and that's just not fun. So, we do provide, for smaller litters, or younger litters, we have a little pink disc that you can microwave, and it holds heat for some time. And we will put that in cages sometimes if kittens need a little bit extra warmth if they happen to have a pool party in their water dish and they need some warmth to get dried off. We'll throw a snuggle disc in there. We don't want to cold kitten. Nobody likes cold kittens. We've got some spas. But anything you can do, really. You don't want to bathe them as tempting as it might be. Just give them a little spot clean with your cotton ball, and they'll be okay. They'll learn how to feed themselves too.
And what are some ways to begin socializing?
Get back here. So, really, the key to it is play. Any species at this age is just ready to start playing. So, while you might want to, reach on in there and just shove your little cute face in your face and just smooch them right on the nose, that might be a little bit intimidating for somebody this size. So you kind of got to bridge the gap by getting them into kind of play mode. We really like using laser pointers. That is like a surefire way to get them in the right mood. We've got, like I said, we have the ping pong balls that have a great bounce to them, and that's just fascinating. Kicking around a bottle cap is a good time. And then just kind of getting them in a good mood, in a playful mood, will, help them associate play and good things with you and people, and ultimately that's what we want. We want to be able to make some good relationships, have some really good companions in these animals. So with a lot of practice and a lot of good fun time, they'll learn that people are good and they want to hang out with you and have a relationship.
All right, so thanks so much, Catherine, for that explanation. It looks like Aiden is
Still eating.
Yeah.
My pleasure.
But that'll do it for us. So thanks for joining us on our tour of the kitten nursery. We're really excited to see how your shelter will be participating for rescuing kittens. So please share any lives with us by going live. All right, thanks everyone.